What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bay Area Boys, where we talk all things Bay Area.
With the boys.
So you rolled your ankle, huh?
Rolled it bad, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I've never done that before.
And you said it was the size of a baseball?
Yeah.
Exciting. Yeah. And you didn't tell anybody?
No.
Exciting.
I was self-conscious thinking, man, what if somebody looks at my ankle right now and just realizes that, like, it is so not proportionate to the other ankle.
But when you want to tell people that then? So they know?
Like, when I did it, everybody was like kind of like segmented, and then there was like this old couple watching the Olympics, and everybody was standing, and I needed to sit down so bad that I just went to go sit with, like, I was about to pass out, dude. Like, because of the pain? Well, it's like after it was like I had like probably 3 or 4 drinks, and then like the pain hit. Like, I for sure thought I broke my shit, dude. Like, I for sure thought I broke my ankle.
So hold on, were you 3 or 4 drinks in when it happened?
Yeah.
Oh, see, this is a part that you did not tell me.
That had something to do with it, but it was hella dark. It was hella dark.
Okay, no, it wasn't the darkness that got you.
I wasn't that bad to the point to where I would have done what I did, dude. Like, it wasn't that bad.
But it was.
I mean, it could have happened 3 or 4 drinks without it, too.
Okay.
It was a foreign backyard to me, and it was dark.
Where were you?
I was at Sam's best friend's parents' house.
Okay, so you were in unfamiliar territory.
Yeah, for sure. It wasn't like it happened here in my own backyard. So
you're feeling better though?
It is. I mean, I skipped my workouts this week, and I don't know. It's like I didn't really want to go to the doctor. I didn't feel like it was that bad. Swelling's gone down. Just the tendons are a little.
All right, just ice it.
I iced it, yeah.
Elevate it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's
Wrapped
all you can really do.
Yeah.
I mean, you shouldn't skip your workouts though.
Well, I mean, I can't. Like, I don't want to make it worse.
You can work out literally every other part of your body.
I know, but I don't even want to stand on it. Like,
so then do bench press, do push-ups.
I could.
I just
didn't want to pay for it. I've been doing like private lessons lately, so I didn't really want to pay to do that.
Okay, you know? Mr. Private Lessons.
Honestly, needed that to get back into my routine. It was
someone like push you?
Yeah, because it was just like not happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, that's awesome, man.
What's going on, Johnny?
Nothing.
Wow, bad segue. Just kick us off.
Johnny looked like he had something to say.
No?
Don't worry about it, Johnny. It's on me, Johnny. All right, so some positive news for Gavin Newsom, which is a change, as he urges schools statewide to restrict smartphone use on campus as students return to school. He's emphasizing the negative impact of excessive smartphone use on youth mental health. I gotta agree, dude.
I do too.
Me as a 31-year-old man, has some serious self-control issues when it comes to my phone. So I can only imagine that young, gentle, non-trained mind having some self-control issues.
Me as also a 30-year-old man.
Yeah.
Same range, same as you. same 30 as you, as well in the same age range as you. Exact same.
Yeah.
I do have a little bit better use of that. I can stay off of it a little better, but I think just having the world at your fingertips during school is bad.
Yeah.
Just plain and simple.
Because you already don't, for the most part, a lot of kids don't want to be in school.
Right.
So to take you away from that, to have that thing in your pocket that's just whispering to you, calling your name.
It really does. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think this is one of the problems of why our school scores, our test scores have been going down, because kids are just so distracted. And that's not to say that it's any fault of their own, right? This is the world that they have been thrust into. And of course they're going to have this thing that is now so prevalent in the world and is given to them at such a young age. They've grown up with it and it's become a part of their life. And so it's a double-edged sword, right? It's a good thing that people have this supercomputer in their pocket and access to all this information. But when it comes time to sitting and learning and being respectful, I mean, there's so many other branches that come off to it. Not being able to do that is a problem.
Yeah.
And so I think this is a really smart and necessary initiative.
I agree 1,000%. So Newsom highlights some mental health concerns. He obviously, and many others, feel that there's a link between excessive smartphone use and increased anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues among youth, which I totally agree. I mean, it's like social media can really mess people up all age groups, but I think absolutely more so than that is the youth, because I think they can't really compartmentalize between like, they just don't have that myelinated brain to be able to talk themselves out of things.
What?
Myelinated? Oh, I used a big word that you don't know?
That was really good.
Damn, dude.
I'm impressed.
Do you not know that word?
Damn, dude. No, I'm saying that's really good.
Thank you.
All right. Look at you.
You're making me blush, dude. Stop. But yeah, so I think as when you're super young like that, there's already things just like that happen within middle school and high school that like you don't know how to handle. And then adding the social media element to that and like the pressure of that is a whole other topic.
Well, I mean, I feel
I know, that's what I'm
half
saying.
the time.
That's what I'm
like
saying.
when I see, and we just talked about it today, I saw a social media post and it made me like get all up in my feels about it.
Yeah.
And it's so much worse when you're an adolescent and that's your world. And that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
School is your world. And when you are so ingrained in it and there's social media with it, it really just exponentially raises the stakes for it. And so having that impressionable mind just makes it worse. And I think having some sort of a buffer or stopgap is really going to help curb those mental issues that we're starting to see more and more as time goes on.
And it might train them better for their workforce when they get into that of like not feeling to pull that out all throughout the day. Because I do it. I mean, when you work for yourself, you know, it's really easy to get that out. And then like, dude, there's some days where I'm just like, back of my mind, like reminds myself like, dude, quit pulling up your phone. And it's a nonstop.
Yeah.
So let's get into some stats. 72% of high school teachers and 33% of middle school teachers report that smartphones are a major distraction in class. 90% of students use their phones during the school day with a median usage of 43 minutes.
Okay.
Which, I mean, it almost seems a little bit low.
I figured that was,
but
that
I
sounds
think
low.
like overall, when you're kind of taking everything, like I think every teacher may be different. So maybe they can only get that much time in.
Well, and that's average, don't forget.
Yeah.
So some people are using it more, some people are using that less, but you know, I'd say an hour a day during school. But that could be like an eighth of the day. That's kind of a lot. That's a
I mean,
big
and
chunk.
think about how much they're on their phone when they get off of school.
Yeah.
Like,
Way
so
more.
it's just like, I think it's just such a necessary thing. So some schools that are already restricting use are Santa Barbara, Fresno, Los Angeles. This is a cool fact. San Mateo High School has been a phone-free campus since 2019, serving as a model for other schools.
Leading the charge. I love
sick.
that.
This is funny though. Mixed reaction schools, Livermore Valley Joint Unified School District sees phones as a cultural necessity and focuses on teaching responsible use. I don't think you can teach responsible use to kids that young. It's like, it's the same thing as, can you teach responsible use when it comes to cigarettes and marijuana? And it's just as addictive, if not more. That's the messed up thing. Like, I really think that us as a society, people are going to start going to rehab for electronic addictions. And they're going to need to start going to rehab for electronic addictions.
I mean,
Like, have you seen the videos of the kids getting their iPads taken away?
and they just melt down.
Dude, and it's like full chaos. So seriously, like I think about things like that as time goes on, and as these, you know, tech giants make these things to be so incredibly addictive.
Well, and the thing is, it's the interesting thing about it is it's not so much because people are like, oh, you can't get addicted to electronics. Like, sure. But what it is it is a pathway to the things you are addicted to, right? Like the first big addiction that came from the internet is porn addiction. So you're not, and it's not so much you're addicted to the internet porn. There is something inside of you that the internet gives you access to feed that addiction. You know what I mean? So it's that library of access you have that feeds into that addiction. And I think there's other things like that where the internet compounds the issue and gives you access to those things.
Yeah.
So that's more what I see. It's basically a little gateway into problems. If you have that sort of addiction or addictive personality already baked inside of you, that to me is where the issues can start coming up.
Yeah, I agree.
And we're seeing it. That was the big first one. It's porn addiction is already a thing. It's already existing, and the internet really just blew that up. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see other things like that. And as far as like, this is obviously, well, I don't want to go that far with it. I will say this. I feel like phones are a time and place thing, not a learn to control it at all times thing. I agree they're part of the culture. It is. Internet is part of our culture now. Phones are part of our culture now. You can't operate without them, which is why people are actually trying to get internet to be a government subsidized thing, because you just need it to operate in this world now. But I don't think you need to have it at all times.
No.
There are times where I feel like you can put the phone away, put the thing away, turn off for a little bit in certain situations. So I personally think it would be smarter to teach kids to not have the addiction on it, right? To not have these little like micro doses, it sounds, to kind of feed yourself that little bit, just be able to put it away.
I don't know, kid, if you can teach that addiction. That it's because it's like, I mean, with addiction, it's very tough. Like when people have addictions, it's not really something that's been taught. They just have to like work through that every day, or like meetings, or I mean, yeah, we both know.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know. It seems like it's just a very touchy subject. It's tough to teach a kid that.
Well, an addiction on any level, right?
Yeah.
It can be anything. It can be drugs, alcohol, electronics. I mean, addiction is addiction, no matter what it is. If it impedes your life to a point, it's an addiction.
Yeah.
And if we're starting to see, and I've never thought about it until you just brought it up, talking about electronic like addiction facilities. I never really thought about that, but that is a sobering reality that I can absolutely see in the future.
I know.
Yeah. I'd never thought about that until you just brought it up.
Yeah. And it comes from like I said, like seeing those videos of those kids, and even like calling out like what I struggle with when it comes to phone addiction and all the social media apps that we're constantly on, checking our notifications, commenting back to people. Like it's never ending. But nice and heavy topic number one, starting off strong, dude.
It started off good.
It is, yeah.
And then we started.
But I absolutely think that it should just be like, hey, no phones, banned. Either keep them at home, or if we catch you with it, it's going in the box.
I agree.
You can
get them back, right? They're not taking it forever, but it's just a phone-free zone.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah. All right. Any topics? Anybody want to weigh in on that one, Johnny?
Nothing on Matt's live, but on yours. Casa de RJ, he did a slew of comments. First one was Roland would be my major distraction in class. and he said, you mad they watching and sharing Osage listings on Instagram ? And then he said, still guilty, not giving up. And then he said, searching for skinny tattoo guys.
RJ's so stupid. That's all we got on that. It's just RJ's
that was it, bro.
String of comments.
There's nothing else.
All right, sick. Thanks, RJ. We appreciate you.
If we want audio from this, I have to exit out of this.
Do you really?
Well, because I have to unmute it so that they could sync it easily.
Okay. Yeah, whatever. Go for it.
All right.
You can always come back to that. Or you can just look at the comments on Matt's thing. You don't really have to have that up.
All right. Do you want to kick it off and then I'd click it?
Let's just watch the reaction video. Semester will have that, and then we can do like a side-by-side thing or something like that. We'll talk about it after.
Gotcha.
Because we'll talk about this after. Go ahead. I hope it works too. Sometimes when you get a link, it like takes you to a totally different video. Oh, damn.
This is it?
Yeah. But that thing is, I knew that was going to happen. Go ahead, start it over.
Here in San Francisco, the pandemic really delivered a big blow to Chinatown's economy. There hasn't been a lot of business to go around here over the last 2 years. And for many of the spots that have made it through the struggle, they're now dealing with another problem. They're struggling to keep up with rent.
What are you seeing, Justin, in Chinatown right now?
Oh, pork chop house is packed.
There's a
I never seen packed this before.
And then what about here?
This is packed too.
So pretty cool. What's wild about this is I tried to search this up online and couldn't find a single thing on it. So I guess since the pandemic, Chinatown just as a whole, all the businesses have been really struggling to keep up with the rent, so on and so forth. And this was a TikTok that I came across that I sent to Matt, where basically the community, or a lot of the SF community, coming together, seeing that, knowing that, and then coming straight up specifically to Chinatown to support the vendors there, the business owners there, to give them a helping hand. So I just thought it was something cool because we're so used to seeing negativity when it comes to SF. So I wanted to throw something positive on there.
Yeah, I mean, San Francisco does have a good sense of what?
You just started smiling.
I'm nodding. I'm happy for you.
I'm happy for you guys.
I'm glad you did it.
San Francisco does have a good sense of community, is what I was going to say, in all of its neighborhoods, especially the main ones like that, like North Beach and Chinatown. They have a very strong sense of community. And when struggling like that, everybody comes and bands together. And it's been tough for San Francisco, as we know. And you know, we really hear about the big business side of things. That's kind of what hits the headlines, is all the big businesses moving out and all the big stores closing down. But when you really look at the micro of it, is the smaller communities and the family-owned, the mom and pop shops and the family-owned businesses that have been there for generations, and how they're struggling too, because rents are raising and people aren't spending as much money. I mean, we know the economy. We're all struggling with it in one way or another. So seeing people come together like this is fantastic, and we need more of it. We need more support for mom and pop shops. We need more support for small businesses. So if you guys can do that, if you know some, go out there, get active in your community, help out as much as you possibly can. I know that we are big proprietors of that, especially being from small towns. I hardly shop at big box stores or go to like chain restaurants or anything. I have my local restaurants I go to. I know you do too. And we're very big in our community to supporting that, because we want to keep our community strong and we want to be pillars of those. And it's good to see. It's good. As you said, it's nice to see some positivity come out for San Francisco amidst all of the negativity that has been in the headlines lately.
And that's what's so funny. That's why I say I looked it up and couldn't find a single thing about that, because the media feeds off negativity, which makes people want to click articles more, anything that's negative, right? So just funny how that works. Johnny, can you click on that link again so I can give the creator who did that a little shout out? Annie Lou, is that what it says? Annie Lou SF?
Yeah.
Cool. So Annie Lou SF posted this. I actually think she posted a little update video on that too, and she's actually a real estate agent. So props to her for putting this together. It did pretty good. I think it almost has like 200,000 views.
Well, and that's why local content is so important too on TikTok like this, and why platforms like this are so powerful, because you can talk about stories that nobody else is talking about. You can really get granular with your community and your neighborhoods and spread information like this and really show people what it's like and what's going on, because as you said very perfectly, it's all about the media and the negative headlines, and that's what people glob onto because that's what gets clicks nowadays and everything else. So having these little pieces of good information is fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
and it's true. It's like even some of the stuff we talk about, like nobody knows about it until a clip of ours comes out.
yeah, absolutely.
So we're just here to report the good old news
We try to.
the way it should be reported.
Yes, of course.
That should be our new slogan.
Should it?
I think so.
Okay.
I know you can't see this very well. If you want to take this one,
I can't see anything.
can you adjust that a little bit for him, Johnny? It's on us, Johnny. It's on us. How's that better?
Yeah. Okay. What is this?
Just start with that first bold, and then you can go right into it.
Just start at the beginning and read.
I know what it is. I at least want to have an idea because I haven't.
No,
seen
it's all there
any
for
of
you, brother.
these.
Don't even think.
I haven't seen.
Hey, don't
any
even
of
think
these
about
yet.
it, brother. Just go all in,
I
brother.
mean, yeah, but I at least want to know what I'm talking about here.
If you could just read that there, brother.
So we have a new music venue coming to downtown Oakland. The former Goodwill space at 1220 Broadway in downtown Oakland is set to be transformed into a new music venue and club called Ceremony.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, the project is spearheaded by nightlife veteran Dominic Green and Jesse Titsworth. who are also behind Oakland's Crybaby nightclub.
That's awesome.
I said it with a straight face.
I honestly, I didn't even think about it. Even when I read this, I just thought, Titsworth, whatever.
Now,
but I just knew Johnny's was coming. Johnny.
I saw it and I was like, Matt, you're a professional. You can do this. And I steeled myself and got through it no problem because Titsworth is just a name.
He is also a DJ, and I think that's a
stage name.
Could be totally wrong. Sorry, Mr.
Totally
Titsworth.
wrong.
I'm sorry if it is your
Totally
full
wrong.
legal name.
Okay. But yes, so Crybaby, which is where we had our reunion
Yeah,
shows, and it was a really cool venue. It's a really small venue, really cool. So they've done it before. They have been very successful of it. So I'm curious to see what they do with it here. So called Ceremony and will occupy a 6,777 square foot space in the Leslie building with a capacity to host up to 1,000 people.
And just for context, Crybaby only hosts, I think, up to 400 and something. So it's gonna be a lot bigger.
Yes. Yeah. Whatever it was, we sold it out. So whatever that capacity is. So yeah, it's going to be a bit bigger. And we need more music venues because the only ones really in Oakland of any consequence that I can think of is the Fox.
Yeah.
Because we used to have Gilman. That's gone from Berkeley. Oh man. Saw many a show at Gilman in Berkeley growing up. Crybaby is hopefully on the come up here. So hopefully this is going to be another interesting music venue to hold some good concerts.
Yeah, bring some more people to downtown Oakland. Can you scroll up a little bit, Johnny? It's on me, Johnny. All right. So the venue is expected to open this fall, though plans have been in place for several years. So Ceremony's mission, which is inspired by Crybaby, new venue aims to showcase progressive music programming, local art, and foster a diverse creative community in the East Bay. Partners have also applied for a full-service liquor license, which would allow Ceremony to offer both food and mixed drinks, similar to Crybaby.
Yeah, sounds like they're doing all right. I mean, they just want to have an artistic space and offer food and drink, which you need those things to have a successful business. You just do. So the fact that they're doing this the right way and they've already done it with their proof of concept with Crybaby is fantastic news.
Yeah, I love it. So that's all we have on topics. Do you want to go into, I guess, the whole changes that we're seeing within the real estate industry?
Yeah, let's talk about now that it's here and now that it is
official as a whistle.
Let's talk about the new real estate landscape. And I think this is a really important thing to talk about because it doesn't just affect us now as realtors. Like, we're not just sitting here complaining about, oh, we have to do all these things now. It directly affects the consumer at this point, and things are going to be different. So being as educational on this as possible, I think is a really good thing. And Roland, I think you have been dealing with this a little bit longer than I have because you put it into practice a little bit sooner, as you normally do with things. But I've also had my experiences with it so far. So I'm curious to hear what you've dealt with and how it's gone for you first.
So I honestly haven't, I mean, it's...
Well, let's talk about what actually is different now.
Yeah.
I think that's a good place to start.
So I think the easiest way to explain it to a consumer is the decoupling of real estate commissions. So in a normal world, the world we used to live in, essentially, a listing agent would get a listing agreement signed by their client, their seller that they're working with. And within that, they would charge a certain percentage. Usually that percentage would fall anywhere from 5 to 6%. And they would then split that commission however they saw fit with the buyer's agent, whoever brought the buyer to the property. Now that is basically out the window. The only fee that you charge now is directly to your seller, and the only fee that you charge now is directly to your buyer. So there is no more set commissions. Usually in our market, the set commission for a buyer's agent was 2.5%. Now, essentially, to break it down, everything is negotiated. So if a buyer wants to see a home, they would have to sign a buyer's agreement with you. They can sign a non-exclusive agreement or an exclusive agreement. And you can set whatever price you want. Anything can be negotiated. Some buyer's agents will charge 3%. Some buyer's agents might charge 1%. It just depends on what they're doing for you. So we have to, as a whole industry, get better at showing our value, telling somebody what we're going to do for them in order to charge X price. I will say with all of my sellers, even though they are only paying me directly, they are still open to paying a buyer's agent's fee if that's what makes more sense for that transaction. So in my sense, in my own little bubble, in my own little world, things haven't changed so much yet. But at the end of the day, we no longer see that concession, that 2.5% being represented in the MLS, in which we see or used to be able to see that a listing agent and a seller were going to pay us. Make sense?
I think that's a pretty good breakdown.
Cool.
So how does that affect you as a consumer? So let's talk about on the buyer side first. For the buyer side, it means we as real estate agents cannot show you a house unless we have a contract signed. And I know that sounds scary because it does. You're thinking, oh my God, are we going to be locked up with this person for who knows how long? What if they're terrible? What if we don't like them? That's something that you're going to have to talk to your agent about, come to your own conclusions about. But that's where our job is to sell you our value, show you our value, and come to a mutual agreement here, right? And there's going to be ways out of that contract too. If you don't like us, you can tell us to kick rocks. We can figure that out. There's little things baked in. Basically, what it means is we, real estate agents and buyers, set what the real estate agents are going to make if and when we close on a transaction. So let's just pretend it's 2.5%. So I'm saying, hey, buyer, I'm going to be paid 2.5% of the purchase price when the house closes. That's either going to be, it's either going to be made up by the sellers are going to give me that money, you're going to give me that money, a combination of whatever the case is. But all in all, I'm going to make 2.5%. That's set on paper. Now, does that mean the buyer has to come out of that money out of their pockets? Not necessarily, because as Roland talked about, sometimes sellers are still willing to offer the buyer's agent that money, that compensation. But that's not always the case. So if the seller doesn't offer that money, that's a conversation that the real estate agent will have to have with the buyer saying, hey, if we go after this house, if you get it and close on it, I have to be compensated as we agreed upon. And since they're not offering you, or they're not offering me the money, you're going to have to pay that money to me. What do you want to do? Then it's your decision as the buyer, whether you want to go off of that house or not.
Yeah.
Right. And so you don't have to go after that house. You can go after a different house, but that's where the big difference comes from, is now it's a conversation of, if a certain house isn't offering a broker compensation like they used to, a co-opting broker compensation, now the onus falls on you to possibly have to pay that if it comes down to it.
Yeah.
Was that?
Yeah, no, it's good.
Okay. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible.
At the end of the day, there could be a lot of different things and a lot of unknowns. So we could call a listing agent, and the listing agent says, at the end of the day, my client's willing to pay whatever the best offer is. So if you give us a great offer and your commission is wrapped up into that, you could potentially win the offer. So there's going to be some agents who are going to say, yes, they're offering, 3% towards a buyer's agent. There's going to be some agents that are going to say, just get us an offer and we can talk about it from there. In which case it does not the best when that happens, but it's just a different landscape. Things like this have changed before. Everybody's going to be okay. Is it the best for buyers? No. Is it better for sellers? Probably. Here in California, sellers have had a huge advantage, and because of this, they have even a little bit more of an advantage. So at the end of the day, as long as you have an agent that's representing you correctly, that you trust, that's the biggest thing. And really for you, just making sure that you're not going to have any surprises. That's the biggest thing at the end of the day, is that if we're communicating and we're doing our best to communicate with that listing agent and making sure that at the end of the day, you know exactly what you're getting yourself into, and you're not going to get under contract within all of a sudden saying, oh, well, it happened and you're going to have to pay me my buyer's agent's commission. That's what we as buyer's agents want to help you avoid. So we just want to make sure we avoid any surprises at the end of the day when representing you.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put that there. It's all about communication. It's the way we see it. First, I'll say this. The amount of the sky is falling we see in this industry about it is, I think, just insane.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a change, and there is a little bit of side-eyeing, like, what's going to happen here? But I think it's just one more conversation to have, truly. And I don't know, it might be different in other parts of the country, But as Roland stated earlier, we haven't really seen it switch too much here. I mean, sometimes we've always had houses that we see like buyer's compensation 1%.
Yeah.
We've seen that already, even before all of this took change. That happens every once in a while. And you just deal with it when it comes. I've gotten offers accepted on 1%ers before because I'm like, well, my buyers want the house. What am I going to do? Like tell them no? That's a bad thing for me as an agent. I don't feel good being like, well, no, I'm not going to get them this house or I want more money. You know, that's just how I operate. But the fact that so many people are so upset about this, and I understand change is hard and change is scary, but I think if we just move forward and have those proper conversations and are clear and concise with our clientele, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. Are we going to lose some buyers because they're not going to want to sign a contract? Probably, honestly, probably. But them's the breaks. There's nothing we can do about it because now we can just, it honestly makes it easier because it's not us trying to like trick him to sign something. This is the law now. You have to sign something with me before I can show you houses. That's it. If you don't want to, that's fine. I can't show you the house then. Your choice. I'm not going to force you to do it.
Yeah.
But I can't open the store until you sign something. It's that simple.
The only thing that's going to be a little bit different and change for me, and I know you do this a lot too, is like those people that reach out through TikTok or Instagram and they want to go see something tomorrow, and okay, well, I got to send you this DocuSign to get signed, and they're like, what? So that's the only thing to me. That's same thing, comes back to us practicing and showing our value, showing our worth, and being able to just articulate what the new norm is.
Yeah, and
like you said, there's going to be people that regardless aren't going to do it.
Well, and it also, you know, one of the positives I think that comes from that too, as far as us in the business, is I think it's going to weed out a lot of looky-loo people too, who, you know, they just want to see a couple houses on a weekend.
It's tough though too, because some of those looky-loo people become very serious very quick.
Of course,
yeah,
I know, I understand that, but you also, I've had people that, oh, I want to see these 3 houses. And then a few days later, it's like,
Crickets.
oh, well, my uncle was out of town and he's my real estate agent and I was just using you to see houses.
Damn.
Well, that happens often.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm at least going to lock them up for those houses.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, well, now if your uncle wants to step in, that's fine. But you owe me money because you made me do work knowing that you're just kind of using me. You know, and it's like, if you're going to make me, I don't work for free. If you're going to make me work, everybody deserves to get paid if they work.
Yeah.
Period. I know that some people have their feelings about real estate agents, but anybody out there, I think you'd agree, if you work, you deserve to get paid. That's it. Plain and simple. So if we work and you make us work, we deserve to get compensation. Simple, just like anybody else in the world.
Yeah. Unless it's Johnny. It's on me, Johnny. It's on me.
On Matt's podcast or Matt's stream, Mama Kitty Meow
That's my sister, yeah.
says, do you think more sellers will go with Redfin, etc., if this new law is in place?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, and we had a story last week. That was a Redfin seller where they have a
Redfin buyer's agent.
A Redfin buyer's agent, but I think they offer a seller's compensation too, or if you sell and buy with us, it's a reduced price, something along those lines.
I don't think it's going to make people go towards Redfin anymore than it is now, because at the end of the day, sellers could essentially be looking at paying less. They could just depend. It's all up to negotiations at this point. So I don't see them still going for the lesser service when it's essentially it's all the same. There's going to be sellers that, listing agents that still recommend to their sellers that why they should pay this buyer's agent a fee or be open to the negotiation of it, I guess I should say. But I don't think that it's going to make Redfin be more prominent, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, and I think because the market isn't COVID market anymore, because I mean, let's be honest. In 2020, 2021, anybody could list a house and sell it. I mean, it's just the truth. It didn't matter really who you use. You could be the worst real estate agent. You put a house on the market, it would get 10 offers, $100,000 over ask. You look like the greatest person ever. But now that the market is, especially now with all these changes, it is completely changed. who you work with really matters. And I know that's such a like annoying thing to hear, but it now more than ever is so true. So even if you want to go with a cheaper agent, you have to look at who's going to sell your house for the most money, because that's what's going to make the difference. Where you might save $5,000 on your listing agent, but what if the other listing agent could sell your house for $50,000 more? Like you're stepping over a penny to pick up or stepping over a nickel to pick up a penny.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. So you want to pick the person who's going to sell your biggest asset for the most amount of money. Even if you have to pay them a little bit more, you're going to net more money in the end. And so I think having to take a look at people who are really professional in this job, especially now when your negotiation skills have to be top notch because of all the changes, you need someone who's going to represent you, represent the property, and know what they're doing and savvy in this business.
Love that. Spot on.
Spot on.
Spot on.
There you go, Kate. See, that's my sister. She's like, well, if I sell my house, she's basically saying, should I go with Redfin if I sell my house?
Damn.
No, Katie. No.
She also said before that, she said she's not giving you shit, and then said she loves you.
Okay.
I ain't giving you
See?
shit.
See, I love you too, Katie. But yeah, that's a great question. That's a great question.
Ray Loves Homes on Rollins said, yeet. Tell them, boys. And then
Yeet.
on Matt's, you had a couple of your friends going back and forth for a while, but we can get that later. Someone named Brooks Landry Group.
Ugh, okay.
He said,
said first he said real estate market is, or real estate agents. He said real estate is doomed. And then he went on to say, I heard if Kamala wins, she'll raise the taxes to pay off mortgages. Thoughts?
I don't know, man. I hate politics.
I wasn't sure if you guys wanted me to bring up like political comments, but I figured this was like the least.
No, I don't care. I mean, I think at the
driven.
end of the day, I've seen so much flip flopping between both candidates, so it's just like is what it is at this point.
I'll just say, don't get me started.
And I know Brooks is kidding when he says real estate's doomed.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll just say, don't get me started. That's all I'll say. That's all I'm going to say about that.
good.
Yeah.
You look like you got something you want to get off the chest.
Christy commented, and
Uh-huh.
she said, "Hi, I'm here. Don't yell at me for missing it."
Okay.
And then Germ said, "Whatever, Christy." And then Christy said, "He tells me, well, Jeremy came, so I guess he's my new best friend now." And then Jeremy said, "Damn, he still hasn't admitted I'm his real best friend after all these years."
Damn.
And she said,
Jesus.
"You don't go to enough dinners with him. You got to fill up his dance card. He's
true.
fickle."
That's
And
true.
they sent a laugh emoji.
That's very
and
true.
And then they ended their conversation.
Okay, well,
Damn,
love it. Friends are chopping it up.
that's awesome.
All of it.
Well, that's it.
That's a wrap.
All right. Well, hey, thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of Bay Area Boys. Thanks everyone for tuning in on our simulcast as well. Hope you guys got some really interesting information and useful information. If there's anything that we talked about that you want more information on, or if there's something you think that we should cover, reach out to us. You can comment on the YouTube. You can send us messages to our Instagram, to our TikToks, wherever it is you get our content, reach out to us there. And as always, if you have any real estate questions or needs, Roller and I got you covered. We are real estate agents in the Bay Area, Greater Bay Area. There's almost no place that we don't go. We're here to help you out. We are two of those savvy real estate agents that I talked about earlier. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys, we'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves till that next time. We'll see you soon.
No place like home.